Heyo everybody, Haku here with my read-through for the first half of Mahou Shoujo Ikusei Keikaku, or Magical Girl Raising Project Restart, Chapter 10. Pechka and Creature World, title's right up there. So, yeah, this is the first part. It's 39 pages long, so I'm going to read the first 21 here. So basically, I'm recording this like Friday morning, I guess it is. And I still have some stuff that I need to post Friday, but I don't have all my stuff written for it yet, so I'm going to record that this afternoon and record this now because I feel like I have time and I most certainly have motivation. So yeah, hopefully I don't completely lose my voice here and ruin my voice for recording later this afternoon. And hold on, let me scooch my light down a little bit. Lighting seems weird. Either way, it seems like there's a bunch of shadow going downward on me. Either way. So yeah, last time we had the reveal that they are all Clanberry's children, something that I had been saying for a while now, and yeah, it's not like I'm a genius for figuring it out. There were a lot of hints, especially knowing what we know from Snow White Raising Project. I think that kind of hinted a bit at what this could be. So yeah, and now Flea thinks she knows who it is, but I'm thinking that would maybe be too easy. Maybe Flea's wrong about who it is. So we'll see. We'll see. This is gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared at all because I have a feeling when the final turn on each other and start fighting each other shit goes down, we're in for some not fun times. But either way, Chapter 10, Pechka and Creature World. Let's begin reading, and we'll go to page 21 because that's where the next character break is. Okay, so Pechka. And I didn't read ahead. I wanted to explain how I know that. It's because I just went to around page 20 and looked for the next character break around there, skimming up and down, and I saw one at page 21. Okay, moving along. Pechka. The real world during the maintenance period was always cloudy. The rains were transitioning from 50% to 80%. It's been a long time since she's seen the sun, so her heart was sullen. But it was just the brightness. The sun was only made up for lighting. It had no emotions, just like the wind blowing or dust flying. Its only meaning was to set a stage. Pechka squatted, stood up, squatted, and stood up, pushing her knees with her hands to stretch. The game has restarted. Pechka was waiting for Clantail in the wasteland area. Whether or not her memory returned, her habits didn't change. Her magical phone's ringtone sounded, so she took a look. A message from Flea. This is Flea. I'm requesting a meetup. Please, let me know where you are. Be careful of your surroundings. And I also called, I think last week, that I think Flea is probably going to think that it's Melville because she is very much Clanberry looking. So yeah, continuing onward. Pechka also wanted to meet up. She replied with her current location. She started up her magical phone and pulled up the map app. In the wasteland area, 3 icons were displayed, Clantail and Pechka and Rionetta. Both icons were moving towards Pechka. She should probably stay here rather than move around unskillfully. Pechka held her cap that was being blown off by the wind with her left hand. Breathing out a sigh of relief, she saw Rionetta's icon properly displayed. She was relieved that Rionetta hasn't yet left the party. Soon she heard the sound of hooves. There was a person running up ahead, rolling up the dust. Clantail. She wanted to talk with her, about before. Because a lot of things happened one after another, she wasn't able to properly talk about Nokko. She wanted to tell her that Nokko and Rionetta had a big argument, yet she wanted to tell her that she still joined in the fight to protect Rionetta. Furthermore, she wanted to talk about the memories they regained. Clantail stopped about 10 meters away from Pechka. She looked a little thin from this distance. Before the maintenance period, her cheeks were a bit more plump. Her facial expression was stiff. Even when she saw Pechka, she didn't relax. Neither did it ease at all. Pechka raised her right hand halfway, trying to shout to Clantail, but it was Clantail who said something first. What she said stopped all of her trembling. Drop your weapon. Pechka looked at Clantail with a puzzled look. Clantail wasn't looking at Pechka. She was looking at something behind Pechka. The scent of sweet roses. Something cold touched Pechka's neck. She felt the touch of metal. The smell of tempered iron escaped her nose. And furthermore, there was an overwhelming odor of blood. Before Pechka could move, something grabbed the nape of her neck, swinging her around like a cloth or paper until she hit the ground. From her pocket, her magical phone fell and rolled away. Without even being able to brace herself, something pushed on her back with force, causing her to exhale everything in her lungs. The only thing she could do was cough, and because of that she couldn't breathe. Because the sun was behind the girl, the backlight made it hard to see her expression. However, Pechka could still see the appearance of the magical girl who threw her. Sharp ears, tangling vines, huge roses, a large bow and harpoon. Don't come closer. She wasn't talking to Pechka. Those words were directed at Clantail. She was trying to rescue her, so the magical girl was ordering the running Clantail to don't come closer. Buck. A harpoon was being thrust against Pechka's chin. She couldn't make a sound, she couldn't be saved, nor could she run away. It was because she couldn't breathe. It wasn't because she couldn't breathe, it was because it was so frightening she couldn't move. This time, even though she thought she could this time, she still couldn't do anything and just trembled when push came to shove. She couldn't help but be afraid of the magical girl before her, committing violence so casually. From the act itself, those vines, rows, ears, they caused Pechka to feel fear. She remembered. The magical girl in charge of the killing game, the forest musician Clanberry, she was two alike. Back. Clantail didn't move. Melville placed her foot on Pechka's ribs, turning her over. Before she could even be surprised, the feeling of being hit with intense pain spread from her fingertips towards her brain. Melville's heels crushed Pechka's right index finger. Her finger's joints were bent so much she couldn't possibly move it. Tears began falling from both Pechka's eyes. Back. Melville raised her heel. Pechka's right middle finger was crushed next, and Pechka gritted her teeth. Back. Her ring finger. Pechka screamed out loud. She couldn't tolerate it. Pain and fear dominated her whole body. She heard the sound of hooves retreating. Clantail responded to Melville's request and had fallen back. Soon afterward, another set of footsteps came shortly after. Hold on, I need some water. Already. Feel like something's in my throat. What's this again? It was Rianetta. Her voice was light. Pechka raised her head. Rianetta's expression was soft. Pechka saw her ripped sleeves from the last maintenance period, making her look strangely imbalanced. Well, it's not like I have to ask you. I know what you want. That's right. Well, are you going to help or not? And the compensation? Same as before. This is different from last time, isn't it? Is it not imminent and urgent for you? You think you see through my weakness. I'll double it then. Well, if you put it like that. Wait just a minute. Clantail's shouting broke off Rianetta and Melville's conversation. What are you two talking about? So maybe she used Rianetta to control the corpse of Yumenoshima. Just thinking out loud before I move on. What are you two talking about? Glancing at Clantail, who Melville had forcefully told to stand still, Rianetta continued walking with that strange gait she had. You might call me strange, but I wonder if anyone else would have been as indifferent. 10 billion is quite the large amount of money, so it wouldn't be strange at all, don't you think? Even if someone has to die for it. What? Magical girls themselves are strange beings. But that's why it's not strange. Rianetta stood in front of Pechka. Clanberry has told me things. She taught me everything. While Akane was in the hospital, she tried to kill Clanberry. Okay. Nyan-Nyan's memory was rewritten, though she still remembered some bits. Rianetta is money hungry. She always wants money, so I provided for her. So, did they maybe all know each other outside of the game, I guess? Akane was in the hospital and tried to kill Clanberry, apparently. And then Nyan-Nyan's memory was rewritten, but she still remembered bits of it. Okay. Because there was no Lazaline to translate, Petchka could only understand bits and pieces of what Melville said. Clamberry taught Melville? While Akane was in the hospital, she tried to kill Clamberry. At Nyan-Nyan's memory was rewritten, but she could still remember parts of it. Rionetta's money hungry, so Melville will provide her the money she wants. It's awful that you keep threatening me, then say I'm money hungry. Rionetta, you... As Clantail looked at her, Rionetta turned her back and shrugged her shoulder. I'm not the only one who looks out for themselves, you know. This time she turned halfway, she faced Petchka and smiled. From Rionetta's right hand's claws popped out. It reflected the gleaming sunlight, glittering in the sun. Then Rionetta swung her claws towards Melville's neck, which Melville blocked the single strike with her standing harpoon. Metal and metal collided, and the fearsome noise of the clash made near-piercing noise. Nda. Anyone who wounded Petchka's hand is unforgivable. That's what I promised her, after all. Besides, if I kill you, the game ends, right? I refuse to work together with the Demon Lord. This time she swung her left arm's claws to hit her. Melville grabbed her second arm and stopped it. Don't come closer. She wasn't talking to Petchka or Rionetta. She was speaking to Clantail. Melville stopped Rionetta's right claws with her harpoon. She held back Rionetta's left claws with her arm. With Melville's only free foot, she kicked upwards, hitting Rionetta's jaw. Petchka could only guess that she kicked upwards from the results. Petchka couldn't really see what Melville was doing. She heard a cracking sound that ruptured through the air, and the sound of something hard hitting against something harder. Moreover, Melville, who had both their feet on the ground, had one leg released after Petchka heard the sound. Rionetta's head, which was able to endure the spirit soccer ball kick, was broken apart into countless wooden pieces with this single kick, causing her bonnet to fly off into a piece of rag cloth. Again, don't come close. Melville was not letting Clantail out of her sight. Rionetta's body was leaning against Melville's body like a puppet with no strings, her arms hanging without any force, and those arms clinged around both of Melville's arms, sealing them. The puppeteer showing herself in public. Did you really think that'd happen? Oh shit! Rionetta sorrying this bitch, oh my god. Okay, I was not expecting Rionetta to have a second body and that it was a puppet all along. Okay, that's actually great, hold on. Rionetta's back split open and something popped out from inside, as if it was oh my god. As if it was Rionetta had been reincarnated into a human girl that was half her original size. Pinocchio. AF. She is Pinocchio. She became a real girl. Oh my god. Yes, Rionetta is my new favorite character. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy. The small girl held a knife in her right hand. Both Melville's arms were sealed. The girl kicked Rionetta's back and jumped out of it, stabbing her knife toward Melville's face. My magical skill makes me a puppeteer. It's your loss that you mistook my doll for my real body. The knife stuck out between Melville's eyebrows, piercing her to the core. So much that you could only see its handle sticking out. Melville's expression was stunned with amazement, her flowing blood dripping to the ground. How amazing. Melville shook off the doll's arms with her strength, with the knife in her head. She grabbed the girl's arm with her right hand, the girl's neck with her left hand. The girl began to gag in pain. How? Melville didn't answer the girl's question, only putting more strength into her left hand, gripping the girl's throat. The sound of bones breaking, blood dripping down from the girl's mouth. Petchka couldn't look away, so she kept looking on. The girl's face looked very distorted. The body that was covering Melville fell down to the ground, causing dust to float. Melville shook her head as the knife continued to stick between her eyes, throwing the girl away to the ground. She shouldn't have told me her secret. Melville's body blurred, turning into another shape. The knife that was supposed to be stabbing between her eyebrows was instead stabbing her in the cheek. Melville pulled out that knife that stabbed in her cheeks. Blood flowed out. She threw the knife. She grabbed Petchka by the collar and pulled her up, startling her. Why don't we change to the riverbank? People might bother us here. Okay, so Rionetta's dead. If Melville was seriously trying to pull something, it's really weird that she's keeping Petchka alive. That's what, like, right now, she seems evil and she killed Rionetta, damn it. But I'm still interested in why she's keeping Pechka alive, I guess. Also interesting that she just made it look like she was turned one way when she was really turned the other. So I guess that confirms that it's not invisibility, and it's not invisibility, and it's not changing colors. It's changing the way that the vision is perceived, I guess. So interesting. Now we're moving on to Nokko-chan. Let me grab some water before I move along, just because it's smart to do at every scene break. Well, damn, so we're down to 7 girls now. See how this goes. Nokko-chan's party restarted the game inside the Demon Lord's castle, and in order to meet up with the other magical girls, they ran towards the wasteland area. Nokko-chan, who was sprinting at full power, had no energy left to spare. Lazaline, who could match Nokko-chan's full speed, still had some energy left for a small talk. Naturally, Flea, who was only being piggybacked, had energy to spare. When Nokko-chan glanced sideways at Shadowgale, her face looked pale. Was it because it was painful to run, or because she remembered painful memories? Nokko-chan didn't know which. The 3 girls ran so furiously across the magical castle's marble-clad floor that by the time their raging footsteps made a sound, it immediately disappeared. Is Melly really the culprit? But Belzy and Melzy were in the same party, right? Even Cherny too. I don't think Melzy's the culprit. First, you should remember her appearance. Who does she look like? Who does Melville resemble? Flea answered her own question. Exactly. The forest musician Clamberry. She looks too much alike. Of course they don't just look similar. I don't think anyone but her could be the culprit. I don't think anyone but her could be the Demon Lord hiding among the players. Okay. Flea's voice, it was also sharper compared to before the maintenance period. She was probably also suffering after regaining her memories. Master Wonder's coin was stolen by Melville. Chernamouse's candies were also tampered by Melville. Using her magical skills, she can accomplish both. So if she could... Maybe it's not just her body, but she can change the way different things look. So she could change the coin into that rock that was by Master Wonder's body, and she could have changed the phone to make it look like the number on it was different. But Melly's magic is to change the color of her body so she can melt into the background, right? How's she supposed to do all that? They passed through the gate, exiting to the wasteland area, their footsteps changing from the sound of feet hitting stone to feet hitting dirt. At the same time, dust clouds wrapped around them. They were almost to Pechka's whereabouts. She wasn't telling the whole truth. She only declared a small part of her actual magical skill, making sure we couldn't expose the crime she committed using her magic. It's not just her appearance. She can change the appearance of anything. It's a magic that she can use to change anything she wants, so to speak. Meaning, if she used her magical skill on the screen of her magical phone, she can misrepresent what's displayed on it. She actually did have the coin in her possession, but it only looks like she doesn't. It's the same with Chernamousse. She can display numbers that weren't on the original amount on the screen. If it's Cherna, she'd let Melville touch her phone without questioning her. Seriously? I'm serious, and on Genocycle and at Nyan-Nyan's incident, that wasn't Melville's fault. However, I believe she was at least the mastermind. Aren't you blaming everything on Melly here? When Genocycle was slain, the only one who could have hidden the body was Melville. During all the confusion, she concealed the corpse by changing its color, hoping to retrieve it later. But didn't Genocycle-chan live on after that? Me and Cherna both saw her walking on the wasteland streets, and before the great dragon fight. After she was sliced, she spoke almost nothing to anyone. That was suspicious. If Genocycle still had free will, then it was unnatural for her. Genocycle's actions, they weren't controlled by Melville. It's very reasonable to see that she had a partner who used her magical skill for that. Partner? A girl who has the power to manipulate marble figures. It shouldn't be hard for her to also manipulate corpses. Manipulating corpses with magic. Nokko-chan imagined that situation and her back trembled. Rionetta-chan, Lazaline wasn't convinced. Flea held on. So, Melly might have gone rogue and is doing some bad things, but why would Rionetta-chan work with her? She's got no reason to, right? No reason at all. Well, let's ask her directly, shall we? Even if she didn't actively cooperate, she could be bribed, blackmailed, or threatened. There's a variety of ways to negotiate. There's no reason at all to say no reason at all. Sometimes it's not so straightforward, but the possibility is always there. Lazaline grumpily muttered. She seemed to be dissatisfied. I'm a bit dissatisfied too, Lazaline. Mostly because, I don't know, I said from the beginning that Melville looking like Clamberry would make it too obvious if it's her. And that's why I didn't want it to be. That's the biggest reason why you could say it was her, which is her appearance, is the biggest reason I didn't want it to be her, because of her appearance. I guess it makes it too easy in a way. Either way, I'm still happy with how it's going, so moving along. I knew it. I knew something's weird. There's no reason for Melly to kill Czerny. Melly always stuck by Czerny's back. I mean, Melly and Czerny, they were always nice to each other. So if she skillfully used her, if Melville's related to Clamberry, there doesn't need to be a reason. If she wanted to kill you, she'd kill you. Wouldn't you think so? Hey, I'm really sorry, but you keep saying Clamberry. Who is she? Why do you keep saying Melly's similar to her? Fla had a surprised look. Even if Fla was surprised or worried, it was rare for her to show it on her face. Shadowgale looked back towards Lazaline. It wasn't just her expression, even her head was tilted, showing that she was nervous. Nokko-chan was also surprised. What's everyone looking at? Lazaline tilted her head, completely clueless about why everyone was so confused. Fla raised her eyebrow slightly as she was falsifying her surprised look, moving her eyes toward Nokko-chan. Do you know her, Nokko-chan? The forest musician Clamberry? Yeah. Nokko-chan nodded. Nokko-chan knew her. It was painful. A magical girl who committed death games in her selection tests. Her name was the forest musician Clamberry. Well, let's talk about that later. There are more important things to do now. See, I like this. I like this because it seems like it's Melville, and it is probably Melville, but Melville kept Petchka alive for a reason, and there's also something going on with Lazaline not remembering. So I like this, where we're getting answers, but at the same time, there are still some questions to be brought up here. Before we move back to Petchka, let me grab some water. Okay. Her folded fingers hurt insanely. She wanted to go crazy. Her nails were cracked, her fingers were disconnected in every which way. It felt terrible as her broken bones pierced through her meat and skin, shedding blood everywhere. Petchka looked away from her right hand. Just looking at it made her feel faint. But when she closed her eyes, that sight returned to her. In the darkness at the back of her eyelids, she saw Rianetta, whose neck was broken by Melville, hanging limply by her arms. Rianetta was trying to save Petchka. She seemed to have worked together with Melville for money, but still she tried to save Petchka. Petchka couldn't move. When Rianetta was killed, she wanted to rise to her feet. Yet she couldn't move. She was scared, she was afraid, she couldn't lend a hand. She hated not being able to do anything anymore. That's what she thought of after she entered the game, but Petchka still couldn't move. It's not that she failed to move. Even before that, she couldn't move. If she was able to move, Rianetta might not have died. Petchka was only caring about herself, so she couldn't move at all, just like last time. What was Rianetta thinking, trying to save Petchka? She usually praised Petchka's food as being super delicious. Her words were often poisonous, and she only kept fighting with Nako, and since the first time she met, Petchka thought she was a scary girl, yet she was still her friend. Petchka's mind kept spinning. In the meantime, Melville was running. She reached the edge of the wasteland area, and from there she ran around in a clockwise direction. Clantail was also chasing her. If she ever got too close, Melville would issue a warning by hitting Petchka. Clantail followed back a distance of 20 meters. Still chasing her and not leaving, from within the dust Petchka could see traces of Clantail's face. She looked sad. She looked angry too. Either way, it was the first time she saw her face like this. Clantail's expressions never really showed emotions. She often expressed it by clapping her hooves, swinging her tail. While she herself wanted to hide her emotions, each of her gestures would cause them to surface. After defeating enemies, her deer tail sprang up, indicating she was proud. During mealtime, her tail would swing up and down whenever the food was delicious. If it tasted bad, she'd rub her legs to her belly. Now, there are no gestures that Clantel could use to convey her emotions. She only used her expressions. She was trying to save Pechka. She wanted to save Pechka, but she couldn't get close. Clantel's legs should make it easy to chase down Melville, but because of Pechka's safety, she couldn't get close. Clantel was the strongest among Pechka's party. The one that killed the most monsters was Clantel. Even during the Great Dragon fight, the one entrusted with the dragon-killing blade was Clantel. And the one entrusted with the +10 equipment in the Demon Lord's castle was Clantel. Even Rionetta and Nako fought with Clantel leading them. Even Pechka relied on Clantel more than anyone else. In terms of chasing, Clantel couldn't lose. Even though Melville proved to be a strong opponent against Rionetta, Pechka was sure that Clantel would win. What if Pechka tripped Melville here, she had thought. A sharp pain ran from her left hand. Pechka screamed. Melville had struck Pechka's left hand with her bow. The bow that hit her wasn't an ordinary bow. Even with a magical girl's strength, that large bow was able to break through their endurance. Pechka's left hand skin was torn. She saw meat ripping off, blood flowing down, bones visible. Don't move. Pechka couldn't even move if she tried. Her left hand hurt. She was scared. She knew that it was her fault that Clantel couldn't chase Melville, but she still couldn't move. Her body was cowering. Before we do anything unnecessary, we will have a match right here. While running at tremendous speed, Pechka's body was thrown forward. She was thinking of screaming, as she'll soon hit the ground. She wanted to shield her face with her right and left hands, but both of them gave in to serious injuries. She writhed from the pain, rolling on the ground from the momentum of the throw. Somehow Melville managed to catch up with her and stopped her. Melville held down her foot above Pechka's neck, facing Clantel. Don't come closer. Clantel couldn't approach. Melville had her foot on Pechka's neck. If she even decided to press a little harder, her neck could snap. Melville knew that. That's why she can arbitrarily order her around. Even if Pechka knew that, she knew that, but she still couldn't move. Pechka's neck was ringing with pain. Melville's foot got heavier. You as well. Stand still. Don't move. Melville placed a harpoon on her bow. She pulled and aimed at Clantel. Clantel looked stunned. There was nowhere to escape. The harpoon that was fired deflected off of Clantel's shield, hitting a building directly 100 meters away from the enemy, blowing up its upper half. Clantel was almost unable to withstand the shock, being blown backwards, only managing to stop by changing her lower half into a crocodile. Oh, +10 shield, sturdy. Now, here's the thing though, is I feel like if she can change the way things look, she can change, like it'll look like the arrow's coming straight towards her, but it's really coming at a slightly different angle and it's gonna kill somebody. I could see that happening, either way. Twice, 3 times the shield was hit. Every time she gets blown back. Behind her, earth and sand blew away, almost like an explosion. Clantel deflected all the harpoons with her shield. She never received a direct hit. Although she didn't get the hit, she was hiding behind her shield, breathing hard. Although it was a shield +10, the powers of Melville's bow wasn't ordinary, and the shooter herself had arm strength that was extraordinary. Pechka saw Melville re-upload her harpoon several times. Even without the plus modifiers, her power and speed were far from what she's seen. She was hiding it. She was hiding her abilities, but for what? Did she assume the killings would happen? Okay. Melville placed another harpoon in her bow. Clantel didn't know if she could withstand any more shots. Even if she could endure it, what about the next one, and the next one? Hurry up, Team Flea. What are you doing? Hold on. So there's 7 left. There's these 3 in Team Flea. Yeah. If Pechka moved, Clantel won't... I was trying to think if there was some other random rogue that we had to worry about jumping in somewhere and doing something. If Pechka moved, Clantel won't get shot. She could approach her and launch a counterattack, but Pechka would be useless as a hostage, and Pechka would be killed. Okay. Now we're getting a illustration. And we have Melville with Pechka on the ground, bloodied and crying. Okay. Still though, there's still a lot of questions I have. Like, I'm getting Melville's the Demon Lord now. But there's still a lot of questions I have. Either way, let's move on. Neither Petchka's hands nor feet could move. She absolutely couldn't move. She couldn't breathe. If her hands and feet couldn't move, at least something somewhere else. Wait, Petchka shouted. She shouted, but in reality it was a very trembling tone. Duh. Melville weighed down her foot. Petchka's neck joints were starting to bend. If you're a magical girl, the weight on her neck was loosened. If you're a magical girl, then you won't fight like this. Petchka had sought to provoke her. She might be killed. It would be strange if she weren't killed for this. She supposed that she should have come prepared to be killed, but she didn't say those words out loud. It seems like her internal organs are being pressed together. While she prepared her mind for death, her body couldn't catch up. Her body kept crying of how afraid it was. What did you say? Melville kept an eye on Clantail, but her attention was on Petchka. She was concerned with Petchka's words. Even though Petchka was exposed to the wasteland sun, she was trembling as if it were cold. Petchka spoke. Magical girls are strong. They should be strong and proud. That was what Clanberry aimed for. She demanded strong magical girls. For that she arranged death games. If someone were to unfairly take a hostage to gain an advantage on their opponent, then they're not a real magical girl. If they fought their opponent fairly and managed to defeat them, then they're a real magical girl without question. Petchka had no idea what she was talking about, but she kept on talking anyway. Her right hand hurt, her left hand also hurt. Her neck was being pressed down as she was sprawled on the ground. She was scared, she was frightened. Her heart seemed to stop. She felt like she was about to puke, but at this point all she could do was spit out saliva. But yet, she could still move her mouth. Magical girls didn't need a hostage. Magical girls won't run away. Magical girls won't manipulate anyone or mess with someone's candies. Magical girls don't bribe others with money. Magical girls will fight fairly with each other. If you're both magical girls and you fight fairly, Clantail won't lose to you. Melville smiled. But I am different from Clanberry, you see. Petchka trembled. Though Melville was imitating Clanberry, when she saw that smile, Petchka saw Clanberry's smile in her. Nevertheless, Melville stated that she's different from Clanberry. I will be victorious. I will face the final enemy. Petchka concentrated on the nerves of both her hands. She felt sick with pain. She couldn't afford to lose this, even if she's scared or afraid. If she trembled here, she'd still be killed anyway. If she didn't move, even if she's scared, even if she's afraid, even if her hands and legs couldn't move, there's still something she can do. Final enemy, so I guess maybe she's trying to go after Glasses Master-chan? Okay. Again, this is all very good and very confusing at the same time. Petchka was just a magical girl meant to be protected. In order to protect Petchka, her friends had their cheekbones broken, their jaws broken, their face so swollen they couldn't see in front, yet they confronted Clanberry only to be beaten down and killed. However, Petchka was trembling. If Petchka moved, they might have been able to win. Her legs and hands didn't move. After everything was over, Clanberry began consulting with Fav as if Petchka wasn't there. Just as before, and the time before that, and last time, every single time before that, there's still no one. No one succeeded. I expected you to complain again this time, Pone. I'm forced to pass this girl who's barely fought in this test out of spite, but I'll allow it, if only for her friend's bravery, I guess. Ah, yeah, looks like you also grew from this, Clanberry Pone. Don't praise me. Clanberry, who turned red with blood, simply casually said that Petchka had passed her test, so Petchka relaxed a bit, only to cry later on. Her friends had been beaten up in front of her. Beaten, and Petchka was even grateful for Clanberry not killing her brutally. Petchka didn't even see them as they fell before her eyes. Why didn't Petchka move? Why didn't she move? How could she be grateful to Clanberry for not killing her? Petchka wanted to beat herself up over forgetting her friend's sacrifice. Petchka will never repeat that ever again. She swore she wouldn't. But she was still scared. She was still trembling. Her hands and feet couldn't move. Even now, with tears running down her cheeks, she was afraid to die. Even so. Even if her hands and legs didn't move, there was still something she could do. Petchka's magical skill activated. 5 minutes. She prolonged the time by talking, but kept her hands on the ground. If you were to explain Petchka's magical skill in detail, then it would be, if you touch something for 5 minutes, then you can change anything into food. She would put soil in a pot, place her hands on it to cook it. This time she's placing her hands directly on the ground. She about to do a freaking cooking nuke here. With Petchka and Melville at the center, the ground, about 10 meters in diameter, just in an instant became cold chicken soup, and Melville, who stood on top of it, as well as Petchka, who was laying down, was soon pulled in by gravity inside the sea of soup. Petchka's hat left her behind, floating on the surface of the soup. Her entire body submerged inside the soup. If she opened her mouth, she would begin to drink soup. It tasted delicious and nutritious. It's the kind of dish that everyone always praised Petchka for. Drinking it, Petchka felt healthier again. Move, move, move! Petchka clung to Melville's leg. She couldn't use her hands nor her fingers. She used her arms instead. Before Melville could kick Petchka off, the sea of soup suddenly broke off. Melville and Petchka both fell into a large open area. They fell along with the cold soup. The rocks were green with moss. There were stalagmites lined up. She remembered the scenery. This time they fell into real water. She couldn't see anything with all the bubbles. It was cold. Her arms almost let go due to the impact, but she desperately kept clinging. It was an underground lake. It was located near the staircase connecting the underground area with the library area. The underground lake must be directly below the wasteland area. She never calculated that. Even Petchka was surprised. Melville was already over... And I like that that was foreshadowed earlier too. They said that the lake was right below it. I forget who noticed. I think it might have been Flair or it might have been Detic, but one of them had said before that it was directly below. It's an underground lake. The underground lake must be directly below. She never calculated that. Even Petchka was surprised. Melville was already overdue for that. Petchka still won't let go. Melville finally began kicking Petchka's face, though her momentum was slowed underwater, and besides, Melville was impatient. Her blows became lighter. Petchka was able to endure them. Melville still kept kicking. Petchka twisted her body and dodged, but she still continued to cling on. Melville's third kick landed on her shoulder. She still kept clinging on. Large bubbles came out of Melville's mouth. Just a little more, just a little more. Petchka about to seriously drown a bitch. Melville's face distorted. She raised her harpoon and swung downwards. Petchka saw the harpoon stabbing just above her belly button. The orange soup mixed with red liquid. Her hands loosened. Melville moved away from Petchka's arms. She regretted not being able to hold on for just a little longer, but it soon disappeared. And now Shadow Gale. So damn, Petchka may be dead here, but what a way to go out. Now we have Shadow Gale. Shadow Gale was running towards Petchka's meeting location, but she wasn't thinking straight. She's heard Flez's explanation once. Unlike Lazaline, she didn't wonder what's going on. She didn't worry about Flez's explanation. Rather than worry about that, she was more worried about her head, or more worried that her head wasn't working properly. Naturally, it was hard to move her arms and legs. Let me grab some water really quick. Still a little bit confused as to why Melville tried to stay alive, or tried to keep Petchka alive here, but we'll see. She was in the forefront with Flea on her back, so she didn't mind her pace as she passed through buildings with the same damaged spots in the wasteland area, aiming for the meeting point. Melville was the culprit, meaning that she was probably the Demon Lord, according to the explanation. Is it really that simple? She worriedly thought to herself. Why was Shadow Gale so relieved? And if someone else was the Demon Lord, she didn't exactly want that, but because there was a magical girl who thought that Melville wasn't the Demon Lord, she wondered if that were true. Shadow Gale wondered why she was so worried. Yeah, that's the thing. What if they kill Melville, and Melville isn't actually the Demon Lord, is kind of what I'm almost worried about here. Like, they finally kill Melville, there's only like 5 of them left, and then bam, somebody else turns on them. Is the worry here. Flea's explanation was convincing. About Melville's outfit, she couldn't hide that it was exactly like the forest musician Clanberry, so Melville being the Demon Lord was the best case scenario. However, Shadow Gale's worrying didn't stop. Flea felt heavier than usual on her back. She never felt this heavy until she remembered Clanberry's test. Flea made a huge success in Clanberry's test, as if she actively seemed to be cooperating. She remembered Flea's appearance. Memori. She snapped out of it. She remembered what she was doing. Shadow Gale had stopped running. She looked around the surroundings, wondering how long she'd been daydreaming. As usual, she was in the wasteland. Fla was at her back, and nobody was there. Nobody? Where's Lazaline and Nokko-chan? I can't hear Lazaline's footsteps anymore. Nokko-chan's too. Lazaline just disappeared in an instant, so she was probably using her magical skill. Nokko-chan's footsteps just disappeared. When I looked back, she wasn't there anymore. I wonder if she entered into one of the wasteland buildings while we were on the way. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I did. You ignored me. Didn't you, Momori? Momori bit her lip. Until she was scolded, she wasn't paying attention at all. What now? Our meeting point is close. Let's head over there first. We need to prioritize increasing our numbers. Fla was rational and selfish. Her own safety takes priority. Of course, that's only normal, but Shadow Gale felt like the weight on her back had increased a little. Just like Fla said, soon they arrived in their destination. However, Petchka, who was supposed to be waiting for them, wasn't there. What happened? There was a magical phone and Rionetta's doll body broken apart. Beside her was a small girl that was collapsed. Shadow Gale embraced the girl, and her head hung downward. It seemed like she already passed away. Healing medicine would be useless. Shadow Gale gently closed the girl's eyelids. The girl's face was similar to Rionetta's. Well then, what do you think occurred here? Looks like some kind of fight happened. When Shadow Gale looked back, there was nothing there. There was no one either. Just the wasteland stretching to the wide horizon. Buildings scattered around. She looked left and right, back and forth. It was the same view. They moved away from here. Fla took out her magical phone. She itemized her magic carpet, jumping off from Shadow Gale's back toward the magic carpet, urging Shadow Gale to take out her own magical phone. I've already registered you as part of the party, Momori. You should know where Nokko-chan's location is. Keep looking, please. What about Lazaline? Okay. Fla looked at her magical phone. She started up the map application. Checking the party's current location, Fla's icon is located here. Nokko-chan was in a place a little further off from here. They couldn't find Lazaline's icon anywhere. Well, we know Lazaline isn't in the wastelands. We can leave her alone. And what about you? The other magical girls, they're probably fighting Melville now. I'll head there. If we all don't work together to defeat Melville, then there's no hope for any of us. And what about looking for Nokko-chan? Okay. So you think Nokko-chan had a reason for leaving us just now? The reason why Nokko-chan left Shadow Gale and Fla's. She tried to think about it, but she couldn't figure anything out. Yeah, see, this is all seeming sketchy. Like, what's going on with Nokko-chan and with Shadow Gale here. Or with Nokko-chan and with Lazaline here. That's also another concern. While there are risks, if we split up, we have limited head count, so we'll have to make the best we can. If you feel even the least bit of danger, you should leave. Don't forget, if you sense danger, run away. Okay. Well, damn. That is the halfway point, 43 minutes, and I will read the other half. I'll either read it this afternoon, or I'll read it tomorrow, and I'm going to try to post this Saturday, and then I'll try to post the second part Sunday, so it'll be day after day. That's the way I'm hoping to do it, at least, so hopefully that's the way it goes up. But yeah, that's it. Thank you once again for watching. Gonna go quickly through the outro here. Damn, it looks like Melville's the culprit, but Melville trying to keep Petchka alive seemed weird. Lazaline is acting very, very, very weird right now because she doesn't remember Clanberry, and she teleported away for no reason that we can figure out. And Nokko-chan seems suspicious. The only other thing that I think could explain this is if Nokko-chan peeled off somewhere and then killed Lazaline, and that's why Lazaline's thing isn't up there. And again, this would bring up the questions of, why would Nokko-chan kill Lazaline? Is Nokko-chan the Demon Lord? And if so, why was Clanberry killing people? There's a lot of confusion going on here, especially if none of them had their memories. They said that Nyan Nyan could remember a little bit. Maybe Melville had her memories all along, but I don't know, it seems very, very odd. Very odd right now. So either way, lots of questions still up there. It seems like Melville's the Demon Lord, but there's just so much suspicious stuff going on right now. Either way, like, if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of this first half of the chapter, what you thought of my thoughts and all that. And man, lots of sketchy, weird stuff going on. This is what I really enjoy, because there are so many questions finally being answered, and yet it's also bringing up so many more questions. So guess that's it. Anything else? Subscribe for more Magical Raising Project, much more. I've actually decided that once I finish Chapter 10, and Chapter 11 will also be in 2 parts next weekend. Once I finish 10 and 11, I'm going to read episodes, and then I'll do my favorite girls from Restart video. Because I think seeing some of their backstories and stuff like that in episodes will help me make a better decision when I make that video. So, yeah, that's how I'm going to do things. So that's it. Thank you once again for watching, and follow on Twitter if you want. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see you all next time.